you're not gonna come out, dude. You can't fit. He doesn't understand how big his shell is. No can go. After our mega long ferry ride from Croatia to Italy to Greece, we are finally in Greece. And we had a bit of an adventure getting to the train station to catch a bus. Didn't make sense, not gonna go into it, but we're on a bus that was labeled train. This is a different kind of train than I've ever been on. Prior to that, I had to go to the bathroom, and I feel like I'm the only one in our group who tells bathroom stories, but here we go. I'm gonna give you a little bit of history. Problems with Italian toilets, they don't have toilet seats on a lot of, I would say, 5 to 10% of toilets that I encountered in Italy. No toilet seats. Croatia, they don't lock their doors. Like, there's just one with no locks, and it's just, you hold the door while you go to the bathroom. And that is about 30% of bathrooms that I encountered. I was not able to lock the door. I had to hold it or put my foot in front of it. That's not comfortable. I'm just gonna put that in there. That's not comfortable. When you pee, you're trying to be comfortable, right? This is like a relaxed moment. Well, today, Greece, you got the trifecta. No toilet seat, no lock on the door, no toilet paper. I'm not feeling too comfortable. That was the start. Okay.
I used the bathroom as well. I just had to stand. It was alright. Welcome to Athens. We are in Greece, in the capital city, and we have a Airbnb here that normally we wouldn't show off as the very beginning of a video series because, like, you know, we usually don't think they're like super interesting to lure people in or whatever. But in this case, this is off the chain. Let's not get into it too deep. We are in apparently a Bangladeshi neighborhood.
Yeah, like
and,
little Bangladesh.
Like, we are like little white people here. Like, nobody else is even remotely white.
We saw one guy and he seemed like he was gonna sell us some drugs.
And a lot of people have already asked us, like, do you want the marijuana? And we're like, no.
I kind of just want somewhere to sleep.
So we're gonna go in our Airbnb and we're gonna show it off. Okay. I'm gonna let you man the key and go ahead, see if you can get in.
Okay. All right. One door.
My bad.
We've been warned about drug users in the area, so I don't necessarily know if that means a bad element for like home invasion or anything. I don't know what that means other than that people they're having what they consider a good time. We were led to this elevator, this very nondescript elevator. Oh, it's here. Dozo. So we got in the elevator. Did you notice I physically opened the door myself. It didn't open itself, okay? I don't know if the door is all the way closed. I don't know if it matters. We're on the 5th floor, and I can preface this by saying this is the second most dangerous elevator I've ever been in. This is the craziest elevator I've ever been in. Keep your hands inside the ride if you'd like to keep your figure. No. Oh. You can see through the ceiling.
Yeah, look at this.
The floor is vibrating. It is metal, but it's not the thickest metal in the world. Yeah. So we're going to the 5th floor. Before we step out of the elevator, or as we're stepping out, I'd like to explain that we've been on a 48-hour endurance run, and we've ended up here. Today is Wednesday?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so today is Wednesday. It is around 7 p.m. We left our Airbnb in Dubrovnik
In Croatia.
on Monday at 6 p.m. And ever since that moment, we have been moving. So at 6 p.m., well, we got our shit together and we had to be at the ferry port at 8. So we took a ferry went over to Bari, we hung out there for a little while, and then from Bari we went to Patras, which is a 16-hour ferry ride, and then we hung out in Patras for like 30 minutes and hoped we made our bus, as we explained the toilet video that you might have seen earlier. Then from there we had to take a bus to a train, and then the train took us here and we walked to this apartment into this lively neighborhood where we could not find our Airbnb peeps.
And everybody was like, marijuana.
Everybody wanted to give us
like,
marijuana or tell us where the hotel is.
We don't want a hotel.
Guarantee those mofos did not expect we were going into this building, because I didn't expect we were going into this building. And you may think that what we've just shown you and described is like, whoa, there's way more on the other side of this door.
Now, let me preface this, like, if you're watching this with your kids, like, some of the artwork in here is risque, so just be prepared.
Yeah. Did you lock it, or
I didn't lock it.
So, here we go.
We were only out for like a second. Okay, so we're gonna go in, okay, so we have this whole place to ourselves. Keep that in mind, and I want to say it was like $30 a day USD or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Like
I'd
it
say
really
I
isn't
was
very
like,
expensive.
whoa. And this is a new Airbnb. I think we're probably in the first 10 to stay at it.
Okay.
It is a loft, and I've never seen a loft.
Not
on
like
one of
this.
these. Let's
So
spin it around.
look at how big it is. It's like a warehouse.
It is big and airy and nice.
And we've been here like 10 minutes. We don't know much about what's going on.
So let's just look at the kitchen. I think this is going to be a good bit of a video. I'm just straight going to say that.
There's a lot going on up in here.
The kitchen doesn't look too crazy. I mean, there's stuff to cook, stuff to eat with. I would say
Basic stuff.
basic stuff.
The sink is kind of interesting. Like, let me just swim this down. You can see that it's a little bit rustic, I think would be the word you could use.
Yeah, they put a lot of pallets up that in the end they look all right. So they got a very wood feel. Okay, I think the kitchen was a bad place to start. It's not very exciting. Next to the kitchen there's a workbench, and this place is called an artist's loft, which is kind of interesting. The windows are gigantic, and I opened all of them, and I really like that. There is actual artwork in here. This is like steel-plated. It's like
a thing
steel
somebody
sheet
made.
that somebody has actually crafted. I don't know where that came from. There's the library.
And then like
We've
this,
already been in more stuff than would happen in other Airbnbs.
there is this like little raised up area with pallets, and then 3 couches.
And a cow?
And
Is it a cow or a horse?
maybe it was, I don't know.
I don't know. And then the outdoors. I can tell you right now, I'm just overwhelmed. And I hope that comes off in this. Like, I keep looking at every little thing and I'm like, what's this? And what's that? And what's this? And that's really gonna come across in this video. Then there was the nice cock that I called earlier. I'm winning.
There she is. Whatever. It's not the only nice cock in the room.
Look. Comes with a Viewmaster.
Okay.
We have a nice little table, a desk, and a table for sitting. Why is there a tent in here? And honestly, I've been a little frightened to open it. I have just been a little frightened because I don't even know what to go talk about that.
Okay, I'm gonna come over here. And there's this man, and yeah, he's hanging salami. And that was like, okay, I can deal with that. It's kind of interesting, right? But then I found this lion, and wait, really? Like, this is a thing? Really? Really? Okay. Okay, let's see what Katie's found. Any luck?
I can't find out how to get in.
I don't know if you wanted, man. He told us junkies in the neighborhood.
There's a television in here.
What?
No joke. There's a TV.
Oh, that's strange.
And a little sleep thing. And a bunch of bags. The overall feel that I have about this place is kind of like multiple people came here and died and they just left their stuff here. And they didn't continue on because they left the stuff here. All right, I'm gonna go this way. Is that okay?
Yeah.
The shower is just out. There's no doors.
Is there a light?
I don't. That's a light over there. Oh, there we go. Yeah, we got
Open
a
it
light.
up. Okay. So
It looks all right. It's really clean.
Yeah.
I'm happy about that.
It's just there. I feel like a snake might come out of there and like, if you play a flute or whatever.
Nope, no snakes.
Okay.
The bathroom has kind of an equestrian seashell type thing. This is some sort of like horse riding equipment. But this is another area that I felt like I found it's very lived in. These are female items. These are male items. And I was like, oh, there's probably some extra like toilet paper
Snake?
in here. No, just random things of someone else's. So that
All
was
right.
interesting. I'd claim this towel.
Is that the only towel?
I don't know. It's really fun to explain this like while we're going through it. And I feel like we're scratching maybe like a certain percentage of interesting. I'm terrified of this. What is behind here?
I don't know, but if you go behind there, I'll go through here and we'll meet. Okay?
Oh.
Is there a light in here? Kind of.
No, I would say no. There's no light in here. What are we gonna do when it gets dark outside? I fear getting electrocuted. I don't know how to turn that on. You're using your cell phone light. Well, there's some light.
It's not exactly private.
Okay.
And then we got these guys. Like, that's a thing that's going on up in here.
He's actually peeing into a pool of babies.
Yes.
That sounds like one of those darndest things Katie would say, and it wasn't really happening, but it's really happening. That's just me accounting for the situation. What in the world could be behind this?
I think it's just a wall.
It is huge. I'm actually kind of scared. So a little bit of storage, somewhere to put, see, somebody else, some other Airbnb just came and died and they left their stuff. It is your eclectic uncle's house. And he died. Your uncle just died. And your parents were, that's a whale of a tale. And your parents were like, well, you know, he's got this cabin, just go hang out at the cabin and, you know, we're gonna end up selling it. Maybe you could just enjoy it while we have it. So this is dead Uncle Mitchell's gay sanctuary.
Katie creating some people over here. You excited now about exploring some Athens?
I want to just explore the nooks and crannies of this. I feel like I could find so many interesting things. There's antlers. I just found antlers. I feel, wow. I could talk about it for a long time. But I should.
Let's find out. Let's be clear here. We haven't slept in 2 days, really.
I had 4 hours of sleep.
Yeah, a little bit. Maybe we were a little bit.
In 2 different sessions. 1 hour on the first boat and 4 hours on the second boat.
So maybe we should get some sleep and then do some Athens tomorrow. How's that sound?
Who wants to continue going through the apartment now? Everyone.
All right, so this is probably going to happen for the whole time we're in Athens, where we keep finding little things in this Airbnb, and we're going to just drop it in. We just opened up this little box here, and let me show you what we found. So it's just this. It was sitting on this little shelf over there, no problem. You open it up, and that drug stuff and SD cards. Do we want to know what's on those SD cards? I don't know if I want to know what's on those SD cards, to be completely honest. And Katie said something about the fridge. She opened it, I haven't seen.
I'm getting to the point where I feel like I'm not supposed to be looking at things. I don't know. I'm really feeling kind of weird. But I feel like the fridge is the place where we're allowed to go to the fridge. I want to specify we will be here for 2 weeks. I'm assuming somebody's coming back for this eggplant and these lemons.
What about this ostrich egg?
I don't know. There's medicines?
They're medicines?
This is not the first. This is the second batch of medicines that I've seen. And down here, what is this?
It's really moldy.
Olives?
They were.
Maybe. More friends of olives?
That's pretty dank.
I'm hungry.
Let's get some food. I don't necessarily feel unsafe in this neighborhood. It's not what I expected of Athens, but the part about it that's a little bit sketchy is that it's like literally like 100 to 1 male.
And the women are just selling fruit.
Yeah, so that's the part to me that feels kind of strange. Like, where are the females and why aren't they here? It makes you feel like a little bit strange, you know? All right, we walked a couple of blocks outside of the little Bangladeshi area that we're staying in, and we walked past some guys that were like passed out on the ground that looked like they might be junkies, and we ended up at a little restaurant that was recommended by our Airbnb host. And he said that it was like a cheapish type of place, and that you could get like some meat. And we got some meat, and good lord, does it smell good. It's a fillet, I guess, of pork.
Fillet.
It straight up smells like Greek food, though. For those of you that don't know, Katie and I actually got married at a Greek restaurant in America, like years and years ago. Jesse's marrying us now. We're at a Greek restaurant, and here comes the saganaki. It's about time to eat. Thank you.
This might be bad timing.
All right, yeah, so we don't want the marriage license to go up in flames here. It smells like that restaurant. I don't know if you're smelling those things. Yeah, so there's something that's happening here that smells like my idea of what Greek food is, which is very, very limited in knowledge. So I'm excited to explore that a bit. And we got some garlic bread, and we have a salad with a big chunk of cheese on it.
I was saying that if you're in Greece, you break it up yourself, all right?
Welcome to Greece, break up your cheese.
Yeah, this is a Greek salad, you break up your own cheese.
That's all right with me, man.
I'm gonna try the meat.
Yeah, get down on the meat, man.
That's why we're here.
Oh, the smell. And we ate rice crackers for lunch today because we had a really tight transfer because a boat was late and stuff. So yeah, we didn't have a lot of opportunity to get a lot of food. So like dying for food and like very tired, etc. That's a really good face. Oh, it's really, really moist. Really moist.
And the seasoning is good. I saw her, she's just taking seasonings and dropping them like right onto the meat on the grill.
How's this cheese?
Oh, well, you get what?
You got some cheese. You gotta break it up yourself. To grease. That's hella delicious, dude. I've been so excited to come learn about Greek food. Like, so excited. And we're off to a really... He
sat on the bus and told me about how excited he was.
We are off to a good start.
I wasn't excited until this meal got... Well, I was excited, but it didn't feel real until I was sitting right here.
I mean, in Greek salad. In Greece.
Look how much oil is in here, Eric Klein. Look at this. Wow. When we went to Zagreb, somebody mentioned on YouTube that, you know, they have great cities, they're really safe, but we've got a lot of graffiti. Well, I'm pretty happy that you do, because the one that I found just now is probably one of my favorites. It's kind of scary, it draws your eye, but it also has a very natural feel where they're using the building in a cool way.
All right, today we're gonna go do some tourist stuff, right? We're walking towards the Parthenon, is that what you said?
Yeah.
That sounds like a crazy thing to say, like straight up, right?
Yeah.
And on our way out of, we're gonna call it Little Bangladesh, where we're staying, out of our way, out of Little Bangladesh.
I was calling it Baby Bangladesh.
That's not bad, too. Maybe we'll flip back and forth. We walk like a block, and then all of a sudden we're in like super Greek area, and there are these markets and stuff, and they're selling olives and artichokes and the biggest bananas in the world.
Yeah.
And we were looking for food and like something that we could eat right now for breakfast. And nobody was selling anything that was like, you could just like pick it up and eat it besides the bananas. But we came across like a little shop that looks like kind of like a cafe or whatever, and they have some pastries. So we got a Spanakopita.
Yeah.
And it's like a spinach thing, right?
Yeah.
And you said it's warm, right?
Is this your
I know this
first
word.
Spanakopita?
I know the word, but I don't know if I've had it with you or not.
I don't think that we've ever really had it together. Even if I go to a Greek restaurant in the States, I'm not purchasing this because I want the meat. Look at that amount of spinach.
Oh, it's a lot. Okay, so it's warm, and there's cheese in there with it, and it's delicious. It's really good.
The spinach is a very full flavored kind of spinach. It's not like just spinach sitting in there going, I'm green. It's spinach saying, hey, I'm the main focus point of this.
Yeah. It's tasty, and I think the cheese is a really good compliment to it. And the flaky pastriness isn't doing a whole lot for me. I'm not a huge fan of that kind of breading.
It's more crunchy to me.
Yeah, it's crunchy, and it's not bad, but it's more of just like the device to get the insides into your mouth, which is, it's serving its purpose.
Yep. This is no joke. Do not park here.
All right, second breakfast.
Second breakfast. This is a breakfast dessert. What would you call
breakfast
it?
Dessert, yeah, it's pretty good.
Dessert.
And there was this lady, and she had this little stand on the side of the road, and we are super excited right now because Athens has got street food. There are like street vendors and stuff, and it's cheap and it's exciting to us. Like really, we love this part of the world when you can do stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm kind of tired of going to restaurants. If we don't go in another restaurant for a while, I'd be all right.
Yeah, just eating from these places.
I'm tired of thinking about tipping. I'm tired of asking for the credit card machine. I'm just tired of all of the the things that you do at the restaurant.
That's why I hand somebody
I don't want to
cash.
see a menu. I want to see a food and go yes or no.
Street food is amazing.
Pay for it and walk away and eat it.
What these are is, she told us in English she just wanted to call them cookies, and we were like, no, what are they called in Greek? And
Bishkota, I think is what she said.
Is essentially what it was. And they had a bunch of different flavors. They had like cinnamon, and they had like
Cinnamon's in the bag. You have to go for cinnamon.
And they had just like plain ones, and they had ones with different grains and stuff on them. But this one is
the most decorated. It is chocolate based. He said the word caramel about things, but I don't know where caramel is. He called the peanuts sticky peanuts, and there's white chocolate and cranberry. Like there's no joke about this one. I'm going for the full effect over here.
So it's soft. No, it looks soft when you bit it.
It crumbles in your mouth.
Okay. She was saying cookies to us in English because it's very much like a cookie.
Yeah.
And very sweet. It's a damn good cookie.
Yeah. I haven't had a cookie in a long time because cookies don't tempt me at all.
Yeah, me either, but I'm glad we got this.
Yeah.
It's like a chocolatey cookie. It's a cookie I'm vaguely familiar with, but I can't really recall like what cookie it is. Like I've had this type of cookie in the past. But it's really good the way they put the nuts on there, and the way that I got a little bit of cranberry, y'all, let me tell you what. And yeah.
There's only one cranberry, I'm calling it.
I want to see, is this the same texture?
And this right here is about €0.5 from that stand.
Yeah.
So this is about 70 cents, 60 cents worth of cookie.
So that was a cookie, and this one looks more twisted, like the way that the breading is and stuff. So it looks like it was made a little bit different. Like that one's just like a flat piece of dough. This one looks like they like wound it up. It's a lot harder. It doesn't have nearly as much flavor. It's just kind of like a little cinnamony and a little bit of sugary.
So what's happening here?
There's not much going on with this one.
Let me explain. They got dough, they braided it, they put it in a circle, they deep fried it, and then they put cinnamon on top of it. So it's essentially the Taco Bell thing.
It's like a churro.
Yeah, it's like a churro with more heart.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. A churro, it's kind of soft, so this is hard. But like, it's like a hard churro. I don't feel like it has a whole lot of flavor. There's not a lot going on. Even in the cinnamon, I don't taste a lot of it. So it's all right, but I think I like the chocolate cookie better.
Tie for me.
Yeah.
I've got good news. Today is National Museum Day. You can get into all the museums for free.
Like all the sites and everything?
Yeah.
Like what?
Like the stuff with the people up on the hill, it's gonna be free. And we can go in here for free. And the lady I just talked to was really nice. Yay!
Yo, this is extremely good news because it's like 30 euros per person to get a pass to do all of the ancient site stuff in Athens, and we just happen to roll in here completely unknowingly.
We gotta save money!
Oh yeah.
We gotta save money!
We had no idea. We were just like, okay, we'll just go out and we'll go look at some stuff today. And they were like, oh, it doesn't cost anything. So like, thank you, Greek people. This is just really awesome timing for us. And this
I was wondering to myself, if like, are there any special days while we're gonna be here?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's a big one for,
today.
For us. Yeah.
This is the Gate of Athena, and it was built in 11 BC from donations from Julius Caesar. Like that's, I don't know, just to say something like that and be like, that's right there and it's actually existing. It's like saying Peter Pan is real or something, you know? Like it's his name that you're just like, yeah, whatever.
Pan's not real?
No, Peter Pan's not real. Sorry. And this is the entrance to the Roman Agora. Am I saying, do you think I got that right? Which was like a commerce area back in the day for like, you know, Roman dudes that were in Greece. And we realized we don't really know how to talk about that, like, because if they were in Greece, but it was the Roman Empire, were they Romans or were they Greek? But they were Athenians because they were in Athens. It's like, I don't even know what's going on.
Yeah.
But nowadays, this is just kind of an opened area that, you know, it's super old, so there's not a whole lot left, but there are a couple of structures, such as the gate, and one more that looks pretty interesting that I can see on the horizon.
Eric just told me about a conversation that he had over by the Gate of Athena. Yes, these are real words I'm speaking. We're actually there. And apparently a man came up to him while Eric was shooting some B-roll, and the man wasn't saying like anything really super significant, but he said, it's not that impressive. What? Are you kidding me? Are you really? And we're not even at something that I would say is like the biggest thing or the most popular thing or the thing that everybody thinks about coming here for, but I'm blown away. And then I sat there thinking to myself, well, Chuck, I don't think the people back in the BCs were thinking about impressing you with anything. You know, 2018, Chuck was not on their mind. Anywho, thanks for the laugh, Chuck. Behind me is the Tower of Wind, and although Chuck might not be impressed, I am impressed with the fact that this is the first meteorological institution or facility that was ever made. Inside is a sundial. They also have a water clock and a weather vane. So this is where people started learning about weather, about how the elements around us work. And that is fascinating. And too bad for Chuck that he is not into Zelda. I mean, at the very least, the Tower of the Winds? Come on, it's just epic.
Yo, I went up in here and my predictions is pretty much everywhere. It's gonna be hot.
Yeah.
We're hitting up the Wikipedia to learn about some of these things. So I hit up the Wikipedia about the Tower of Winds here. And something that I noticed that was kind of specifically interesting is it says that perhaps the restoration didn't take place until 2016. Like, that can't be right? Like, is this just now recently become a place that we could go in and look at? They've got like walkways in there that look really modern, but I can't imagine that before 2016 you couldn't have come in here. Like, did they just ignore something this incredible for that many years? It seems wrong, right? But,
That's where they used to poop. It's
oh, hey, yeah, hey, there's a toilet. Yeah, it's nice. I kind of gotta go.
The cat's gonna do it.
It's pretty amazing that the Tower of Wind is still standing, because when you look at the rest of the stuff that's around it, it's all like, there's not much left. And I guess maybe it has to do with like the shape of it. It's like kind of like a octagon or something, like the walls and stuff to make it strong.
I think it has to do with the shape of it, but I also think that it has to do with the fact that it is a closed thing. A lot of the things that we see that are ruins are just columns, either easy to fall over, whereas with the tower you've got all these joints and everything is touching each other and supporting each other, so it makes sense to me that it was... maybe it didn't stay up like that the whole time. They just found it on the ground.
They put it back together. I get the impression it was together because it had mentioned that at certain points in history they used it as a church as well. Like it had been used as like a bell tower and stuff like for churches. So I think it's just been like that since like 2,000 or plus more years ago.
So the shape and that it actually has, I don't know how to say what I'm saying. Like it is a closed structure.
Yeah, it's got you know, like stability to it. You know, it's like
it's different than that.
It doesn't have open walls.
There are no words.
There's a word, and a lot of people are going to know it, and we don't know it.
Shut your mouth. There's nothing like a view of the city like this to just let you know you are in Athens. We've come to one of the amphitheaters that's here at the Acropolis, and I didn't really even know there was going to be more than one amphitheater, but this doesn't seem to be the one that is most ancient. It is just one that's here. And then we saw that they're putting up the stage, so I started looking up like what's going to happen here. And I don't know what's going to happen tonight, but in the near future they have opera singers and a lot of festivals here. And one part of the festival, which you will find this interesting, Bill Murray's going to play here.
What, are you serious? He's going to come here and tell jokes?
No, he's not going to come here and tell jokes. He's going to play piano.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Yeah, so he is going on tour with like some other people that are musicians, and they're doing like arts, not just music, but also like literature.
Yeah.
And they're doing a stage show. And it'll be playing here on June 19th if you're going to be in Athens. Or, well, this
King Zisu!
Yeah, this might be long after that you see us in this video. So, anyhow.
Hope you didn't miss it.
Yeah.
All right, so what is the Acropolis? And I looked it up on Wikipedia, and it turns out that Acropolis just means like city at the highest point. So it is what they would have built a long time ago that sits on the highest point of Athens. And you have a killer view of modern day Athens from up here. It's ridiculously beautiful. And you get a really good idea of like the mountain ranges and stuff, and you can actually see some water off in the distance, and then just all the millions of little buildings, and just like you're above it all, and there's so much going on below you, and you know what it feels like down there now, and it's a really cool vibe. And you come up here, and maybe this is because it's like the free day or whatever, or maybe not, maybe it's just because of how famous this is, but the tourists here is no joke. Like there are a gazillion people up here with us getting the same amazing view. And we have come up to, I guess, kind of like the entry point of where the Acropolis starts, like for real. And we're gonna go in through these gates on these stairs that are up behind us. And I guess from there we're gonna start seeing like some like crazy old stuff. Like I read like something that said 500 years before Christ a minute ago, and that's pretty old stuff.
I'm trying to like keep focused on the amazingness that is around me, but there is an unprecedented amount of cleavage out, and I just can't stay focused. Seriously. And we have nowhere to like show you all this cleavage. It's just kind of wandering around, and yeah, I'm a bit distracted.
Parthenon. A little known fact, we actually got married at a restaurant called the Parthenon. So this is the second most important Parthenon to us. Yep. It's under construction, and it will be, I guess, until 2020, which is really cool. They got to keep it like, well, not construction, but restoration. I don't think they're building it still. But they're keeping it nice, you know. And I mean, that's all good. They got to keep things nice. And I don't really have a whole lot to say about it. It's like up on this hill, and it's this really kind of striking looking building. It's apparently a temple to a goddess from 2,500 years ago.
Which one?
Athena, I think.
Oh, is it Athena?
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's all this stuff apparently if you go up there, and I'm not sure if usually you can access it and you can't because of the restoration now or whatever, but it shows like her birth and stuff, and like chariots and things of Zeus and things like that. We'll walk around the back and see if we can see some of it, but it doesn't seem like you're allowed to like clamber up in there right now, so then we might be missing out on...
I gotta stop looking at boobs. You apparently have learned a lot, and I've just been wandering around.
I found a placard.
So there's actual machinery at the premises here to do archaeological looking at stuff. There's a lot of rocks, a lot of marble, a lot of things that people could still be analyzing, trying to figure out how it got here, where it came from, and how pieces fit in together, because we've seen some structures that look like they're still being put together, like a puzzle. Like there's still a puzzle here to be solved about certain things. Yeah, we know some things, but there's always going to be more that we can learn from these items that are just on the ground here. And the machinery here, I wish we could see it functioning. That would be awesome to watch it just moving things around, and yeah, I'd like to see how all this functions a little bit better.
Once you leave the top of the hill where the Parthenon is at, you can walk along the edge of the mountaintop that everything sits on top of. I guess mountaintop might be a bit of an exaggeration, more of a hilltop, but you can walk around it and you have a really cool view of just what everything looks like from below, and you get these cool like walls and stuff from down below. But the signage down here is kind of grim. It's just like north side, south side, and like east side and things like that, and you don't really know where you're going or what you're gonna see, so you're just sort of wandering kind of aimlessly, and you don't have any idea if you're going back to your entrance or the exit that you need to go out, and you don't know if, I don't know, this sounds weird, but you don't know if it's worth it to walk the 20 minutes that you're headed in towards north. And it's like, I wouldn't say frustrating, but it's hot out here, y'all. And I'm like hiking up some steps, and like, if there's something cool, yeah, that's awesome. But if it's another view of the city that isn't quite as good as the view I saw a minute ago, it's kind of a bummer.
And then you pile on top of that any placards don't really tell you anything down here. We haven't seen any description about it. So we've been hearing people go, I wonder what that is. I wonder what that is.
Other people like, wow, that looks amazing. What is it?
So you don't know
there's
what
no way
you're
to
looking
find
at
out.
Or where you're going. So it's kind of a...
The signage could be better. I guess that's really what sums us up.
You got in for free.
I did get in. I did get in for free. But I'd like to know more about what I'm seeing. You know what I'm saying? And our phones actually have stopped working, and I think it's because there's so many people here with phones in their pockets that it's just like saturated the data network. Yeah, like it connects, but nothing loads.
Making a video call.
Oh yeah.
She's getting all the internet.
And it was like really, really broken up.
Yeah.
Whew. Oh, shade. Big upside is there's nobody else walking around here, so it's really peaceful.
Yeah, there's nobody over there.
It's like butterflies going by and stuff.
Yeah, cats and pigeons and stuff like that.
Going into the Acropolis, we had a little bit of a strange thing happen at the gate when we were like rolling in, and they were checking tickets. They're checking tickets, but it's free, so I don't know what's going on. It felt very confusing. But I was walking in, and I have a microphone that sits on the side of my camera, and it's this. It's kind of ridiculous looking, but it's just like sits right on the side, and it's on the side of the camera, and this cable plugs in, and it makes our sound nice, right? And the other thing that it does is it stops wind, which is important, especially when you're going up on top of a hill. So now I'm hoping that the footage that we shot up there is decent because of the wind. So this thing stops the wind. This is the microphone. Anyway, so the lady saw this and she stopped me, and she was like, "Is that a microphone?" Like, lady that works here. And I was like, "Yeah." And she was like, "You can't take that in." And I was like, "But is the camera okay?" And she's like, "Your camera's okay, but you can't take in this microphone." And I was like, "Okay." So we just, we shot it with the onboard mics and the camera, and like I said, it should be fine, but why? So Katie asked, and they said that you have to have a special permit. I guess because they think this means like you're doing like professional level like stuff or whatever. But I mean, like, look at me. I am not doing professional level nothing. So. But you are gonna go in there and make videos and put them on the internet for that. I am. I was gaining the system, I guess, but just by dressing like a scrub. But she saw through the ruse. It's lunchtime, y'all, and we have come to a restaurant, which is exactly what Katie didn't want to do, but we're here.
Forgot about that. Okay, yes, we were at a restaurant, but I had stopped to get some postcards for the postcard club. Look forward to some Greek postcards, and I just asked the lady inside, because we were having a good chat and a good laugh, and I said, "Where do you like to eat in your neighborhood that is cheap and delicious?" And she said, "This is where you need to go." And now we are there, which is at To Katialo. And it's a family-run restaurant, been going for 37 years. The dude, Konstantinos, is amazing, really nice, and we've got delicacies upon delicacies in front of me. stuffed pepper. Don't know what's inside. A crepe, a stuffed zucchini. Also don't know what's inside. Secrets. Okra. Some almost marinated, like cooked, super duper Greek looking beef. And kind of like moussaka, but not moussaka. Friend of moussaka. Eggplant with caramelized onions and feta. If that combination doesn't rock your world, you're crazy. That just sounds fantastic. I'm gonna steal your cutlery. I want to know what is inside the pepper, because the pepper is just, I want to know. We're going in. Ooh, we've got some rice. Rice and meat. Eric really likes chili rellenos. I'm sorry, but every time I go for a chili relleno, this is what I'm hoping for, and I don't get it. A lovely stuffed pepper. Look at that. Holy crap. That is fantastic. That's Constantinos.
What's really cool about this place is that the people that work here, they care, and it's very obvious that they care, because he was really excited to make sure that we understood what we were ordering. He took us inside and showed us like everything that was being cooked and like this is what it's going to look like. Questions that you always don't really know the answer to when you go to a new country and you aren't familiar with like the local cuisine and stuff. So it was like the perfect way to like get an understanding of what we were looking at. And Katie ended up actually being like, okay, we'll try this and this, and then we have this much money. Showed him like 15 euros or something, and was like, just fill the rest of it with stuff. So that's how we ended up with this like smorgasbord of stuff. Maybe we should try that in more places. Just go into a place and be like, this is how much money I have, just do something. Then maybe that's a really good way to go. I'm gonna jump into the stuffed zucchini, and it is stuffed with meat, which kind of surprised me, but let's go ahead and cut. It's really super soft. I did not need to get a knife involved with that. It was fine with the fork. And tons and tons of different flavors are happening with that. It's very complicated flavor. I want to say like a spinach is happening, and that's kind of like the predominant flavor. The flavor of meat is only there, but it's subtle. The zucchini brings a little bit of green likeness to it, but it's not a super strong flavor. And I guess that's a little bit of rice they put inside of it as well. It has, oh yeah, there's a lot happening when it hits your tongue. The whole front of your tongue is just like boop, like lights up. The other thing on here that looked interesting, and like one of the things I was like, I definitely want this, was this eggplant mixture. And the reason that I wanted it is because one, I like eggplant, and two, he said the word caramelized onion. And you can't go wrong there. It's hot. Oh God, I don't even know how to begin explaining all the flavors. They're so foreign to me. They're very delicious, but like there's oils and stuff that are being used, and there's spices that are being used that I just don't have in my life usually. So I have a really hard time explaining it, but just be assured it's really flavorful. It's like an adventure for your mouth, like hardcore. This was a really good find. That was literally a perfect meal. Like, it was 10 stars all across the board. And it was because it was that rare place. It's so hard to find, and I think it's becoming more difficult to find these types of places where it's just like a little mom and pop shop. The family runs it. His auntie was cooking the food, and it's just like they care a lot. And everything was amazing. And the dude was really cool to talk to. Yeah,
him and I just sat down and just chatted and chatted and chatted, and it was really nice.
It was the exact experience that I want. Like every time I go eat, I want that. I want somebody who cares about what they're going to be slamming down on the plate, and I want them to care about your experience. And it wasn't like obscenely priced. I wasn't paying a whole bunch of extra money for ambiance that I don't want.
Yeah,
it was it was like good food, and it was, I don't know, I'm just stunned at how good it was.
I'm even more stunned at just how comfortable it was, and how nice it was, and how just chatting was really good.
Yeah, good on them. I would recommend that place full-heartedly. I would go back.
Allo.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, Allo. Yeah. The lady at the postcard shop, she made sure, or she tried to help me with my Greek pronunciation. Sorry if I did a bad job. Eric, this Zeus sanctuary is way bigger than you.
What's that mean?
It's so big. It's at least like 8 Erics tall.
It's true. Zeus is a big dude. So this is Zeus's temple, like Katie had said, and it was built, I assume, for Zeus. And it was built so long ago that the placard that they have explaining information says, according to legend, it was constructed by blah, blah, blah. And like, if you write out according to legend, you know you're talking about some old stuff. It actually used to have 101 columns, and then it was a building and like everything that went along with it, and you know, 2,500 years go by and this is what you end up with. And right now there's 15 pillars that are still standing, and one of them you may be able to see back here is laying down, and that is actually the result of a storm that happened in the 1850s, and it fell over and they were just like, that's where it is now. So like another one fell, but there's still 15 standing, and just like there's not much there really in a sense compared to what used to be there, but with how huge they are, it is like to think that they constructed this back then, it just kind of warps the brain a little bit to just think about like the practicality that had to go into that. Just how do you make this thing and then stand it up without a crane? Like how do you even do it? I mean, I'm assuming a lot of people are probably unhappy about doing it, but like still, like how do they lift it? And then from here, if you turn around and you look this direction, you can see where we were this morning up at the Acropolis, right? No. Acropolis, there we go. I kept saying it wrong and I'm not very smart. And it's just sitting right up there, and the view between the two is just like really, really nice. I don't know if we noticed this from up there though. So now I kind of want to go back and look this way. Orlando,
Orlando, I love you, Orlando. SeaWorld and Disney and putt-putt golfing.
Boom, 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 boom.
We're in Greece. Greek yogurt comes in paint buckets.
Can somebody who reads Greek tell us if this says Greek yogurt or does it just say yogurt?
I've got good news. Today is National Museum Day. National Museum Day. We could get that sucks.
Yeah. Going into Acropolis, right? Is what it's called?
The Acropolis. Are you gonna want the food in it with you?
You can pan back and forth a little bit if you need to, but start on my face.
Okay. Thanks as always to our supporters at Patreon. Without your support, we couldn't make these videos. If you'd like to help us keep making videos, check out the links below. We have a bit more from Athens on the way before we jump into the footage we filmed over the New Year in Japan. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss anything. Oh, liking and commenting helps us too.